our Nutrition Club Explorers. On today's episode, Lesson 3, we're going to be talking about dairy and outer space. The first thing you're going to want to do is draw your picture in your astronaut helmets. Before we begin talking about dairy, let's blast off to outer space. So let's count down backwards from 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Whoa, now we're in outer space. Some of you may be asking, what does food have to do with outer space? Well, astronauts, just like you and I on Earth, have to make sure they eat all 5 food groups. But food is a little different in space. Does anybody know why? That's right. So spacecrafts are really tiny. That means they have to compact down food. And also, there's no gravity in space. Gravity keeps our feet planted on the ground. So when astronauts are in a spacecraft, they float around. This means any food they eat will also float around. That makes eating a little tricky, but also a little fun. So scientists at NASA have to develop food that isn't super crumbly, is easy to be eaten, and is compact. So they might freeze dried food, take out some water, they might liquefy some food. It's all different options, but they still have to eat all 5 food groups. So their fruits, their veggies, their grains, their protein, and last but not least, what we're gonna be talking about today, their dairy. On page 2, you'll find a rocket ship, and this rocket ship symbolizes your body. You need to consume all 5 food groups to have energy to blast off your body. But today, we're only gonna be talking about dairy and what decisions we should make. So, dairy. Dairy helps keep our bones strong because it has vitamin D and calcium. So, the best choices to make when eating dairy are low and plain non-fat options. So yogurt, milk, cheese, but that doesn't mean you can't have any sweet treats. You can still have ice cream and chocolate. It's just good to sometimes eat them, not all the time. You still need to make other decisions. So go ahead and play along with our activity. Choose which dairy products you'd like to eat. You need to fill 6 fuel cells. So fill the 6 rocket fuel cells. Can everybody show me on their hands how many that is? That's right, this is 6. The options I choose to blast off my rocket are gonna be the plain low-fat yogurt, which is worth 3 fuel cells, and then the cheese, which is worth 2, and then last but not least, some ice cream, which is 1. So that totals 6. What would you choose? Now, we're gonna learn about the planets. What would outer space be without learning about the planets? So, there's a little trick to help you remember them. My very educated mother just served us nachos. So, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So, everybody say that with me. My very educated mother just served us nachos. All right, now say the planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Yay! Now that we learned the planets, we're gonna play a little game. You can find the questions in your guide. I'm gonna say a question out loud, and then you're gonna do the exercise that shows on the screen to whichever you think the correct answer is. Question 1, true or false? Dairy helps keep our bones strong because it contains vitamin D and calcium. Question 2, fill in the blank. You should blank when choosing what fruits and vegetables to eat. Question 3, how many of the grains you eat should be whole? True or false? Protein can come from both plants and animals. True or false? At Summer Nutrition Club, we learned about fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. Woo! Thanks everybody for participating and answering some questions. Now, on page 5, you'll find the astronaut meal game. So, choose some foods from all 5 food groups that you would want to bring to space. But remember, the foods can't be too crumbly because since there's no gravity, would carry it away. And they must be easy to eat. They also must be compact. Maybe you can dehydrate the food. Maybe it's freeze-dried. Maybe it's your favorite food, but a little different so it's easier to eat. So come up with a meal, but it must have all 5 food groups. Thank you, Summer Nutrition Club Explorers, for exploring outer space, the rainforest, and Asia with me these last few weeks. We hope to see you next year.